If I told you I found the funnest, most addictive sword fighting game to play with your friends, would you be interested? If I told you the game looks like this, only has 5 attacks, but gets you on the edge of your seat every time you play, would you believe it? And if I told you that by the end of this video you will understand why this game is a minimalist masterpiece, would you buy it? Before we can learn about what makes this game so incredible, let's find out what it is. This game is called Nidhogg, and the aim of the game is to get to the other side of the screen so you can be eaten by this Alaskan bullworm. Yippee! Why is it a fighting game? Well, your opponent's objective is to go to the other side of the screen through you. So really quickly, the game becomes this incredible tug of war, losing and gaining ground every time you kill your opponent or every time you die. Now, I'm sure you've noticed from the gameplay, this is a sword fighting game, and I did say there's only 5 moves, and it's in 2D. So let's quickly talk about the combat mechanics and find out how they manage such a fluid sword fighting experience with such clear limitations. So the game is a fencing game where one touch of the sword is enough to kill the opponent or you. The first attack is simple, it's just a punch, and you use that when you're without your sword, which is quite a lot because my favorite attack and the second attack is throwing your sword at the enemy. There's also this sick jumping dive kick and this weird little roll that ends up with the other guy getting his neck snapped. The final attack is the most important, and it's the one you'll be using the most often, the humble poke. Now, the main feature that gives the combat system all its depth is that you can hold your sword at one of 3 heights. This is what I think is the greatest strength in Nidhogg's design. With the simple graphics, the simple combat system, and the simple objective, the player knows exactly what to do and how to do it, and there's an immediate competence with the simple combat mechanics because it is so simple. This easily understandable combat system is why the game is so good in a multiplayer context. There's no, oh, let's play that fighting game that I'm really good at that you guys aren't really good at, like Smash Bros, for example. Everybody knows there's that one friend in the friend group who's amazing at Smash Bros or Mario Kart and is going to shit on you every time you play. But with Nidhogg, there's really just, it's an incredibly low skill gap, which is actually a good thing. Of course, there are little techs and everybody can be cracked at something if they try as hard as they can. But for the common player, it's one of the most perfect pick up and play games. With the raising and lowering of your sword, it's not really the typical fighting game, it's the anti-fighting game. It's slow, it's methodical, you're thinking, you're raising your sword, you're lowering your sword, you're edging in, you're edging out, you're jumping, you're rolling. When's he gonna attack? Is he gonna go first? Is he just gonna jump over me and run towards his objective? And you're edging closer, and you're raising and lowering your sword, you're faking a throw, and then all of a sudden, you engage. And this is where the fun of Nidhogg takes full effect. It goes from this incredibly tension-filled moment to all-out chaos. There's button mashing, maybe someone dies, maybe someone jumps over the other person, and the chase is on. Once someone dies, there's a respawn time, and the other person that killed him is now running for their objective, and you'll respawn in front of them, and you get a couple of chances to kill them before they win. It just makes Nidhogg the perfect multiplayer sword fighting game. I think Messhoff did an incredible job with stripping back what a fighting game is and just focusing on the essentials and doing them incredibly well. Another thing that makes this game fantastic is how it looks. And I know it seems very simple, but just like everything else, there's more to it than meets the eye. So we're going to break that down now. The backdrops in the different maps range from this cool castle, these mines, this interesting forest, and this lovely sunrise. I'm a sucker for a retro art style, but I want to bring attention to the character models in this game. There's something about them. Obviously, it's a dated style or whatever, so it makes you think that the characters should be moving like this. But they don't. The animations are so fluid and you know exactly what you're looking at, and it's dynamic and exciting. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those epic, like, stick figure animation YouTube videos where they were, like, doing crazy martial arts and stuff. It gives me that same vibe, and those were always the coolest thing ever to watch on YouTube when I was like 9 years old. Of the 4 different stages of the map, each one has something special about it. One of the stages has these clouds that you walk on, and they can disappear under your feet as you're standing on them. Another has this tall grass that you can crouch and hide in, so your opponent won't know where you are. One of the stages even has conveyor belts as floors, and that's another thing you have to think about as you fight. And when all of these simple mechanics that are easy to understand are layered on top of each other, the whole game still remains simple to understand, but there's still a lot of depth in it. Take Sekiro, for example. Other Souls-likes offer combat variety through the large amount of different weapons and spells you can acquire. However, with Sekiro, you have your sword, with different mechanics added gradually. It starts off very simple, attack and dodge, and then, oh, there's a block. Oh, there's a posture bar. Oh, there's deflecting that drains their posture bar. Oh, this guy, I can't block or dodge. Oh, it's a Mikiri counter I need. And then all of a sudden, you're redirecting lightning in the air and swinging this fucking thing. Each mechanic remains simple to understand, but when layered on top of each other, the combat becomes very deep while still easy to grasp. In Nidhogg, this creates a very rewarding experience, and the best thing about it is that no one can really skill diff the other person. It's literally too simple for there to be a big skill differential. Basically, only been talking about this game in the context of local multiplayer, like sitting around the couch with your friends, which genuinely is one of the best experiences ever. And whilst the tournament mode isn't available when playing online, you can pretty much replicate it by choosing who plays in the 1v1s and then just using a, online tournament bracket. Once everybody's familiar with the game, it just turns into jumps this and deflections that and crazy rolls and frog hopping through tall grass like some kind of freaky Pokemon. Then there's a stalemate and everything gets real tense, and it's perfect. It's perfect. It's so perfect, in fact, that I played an online tournament with all my friends, and that's on the extended cut on Patreon. $4 gets you all the extended content I make, if you're interested. I know I have a tendency on this channel to just glaze a game's glow nuts and not say anything negative, but really the only thing negative about this game is that it's nothing more than it is. So if you don't want to play Nidhogg, you're not going to enjoy playing Nidhogg. Which I know sounds obvious, but I've been playing Marvel Rivals recently. I've got like 40 hours in the game already, and I genuinely think I've enjoyed 3 of them. Like, I'm trying to do the whole ranked climb, and it's just, I'm terrible at it, and it sucks, but I can't stop playing. It's sad, but what can I say? That little shark thing is gonna curb stomp itself. Anyway, gamers, that's all I have to say for this video. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe below if you enjoyed, and consider supporting me on Patreon, because it really does help. I'm working on a really big video right now that's a little bit different to what I've been making so far, but I'm excited about it. So if you're interested, hit the bell icon, keep an eye out for it. Okay? Peace out, gamers. All the best. Lots of love. Goodbye. See you later. Talk to you in a while.